Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to topic 3. In this topic, we're going to get into the rendering process. So once you guys are done setting the materials, the objects, we'll get straight into the rendering process. So what we'll do for that is we're going to select the photo icon on the right corner and we'll get into the viewport as you guys have done same for the exterior renders. Now over here, we'll set up at least 2 to 3 views. So the first view I'm going to set up is from here, so we get a look at the entire hall including the dining as well as the living. I don't want too many of the TV objects to come within it. We'll set this up. Now we can hit the control 1 to give our first click. Now I'll give one of the view as well from here. So we get the entire living space, the dining space, with the frame over here. Something like this. Control 2. Now we'll go for one from this side and we'll even get the entire living as well as the dining. Control 3, and we'll go and zoom in just on the dining. From the dining we'll look into the living, something like this. We can use the focal length here because I want to cut out the glass which is coming on the lower corner over here to get something better like this. Once we're done with this, control 4. Well, we have taken out 4 instead of just taking out 2 or 3, but we really need a good look for the entire views. So now let's start with the first view over here and we'll get into the editing process for it now. So even though it's looking a little bit more animated now after even placing all the materials with all the settings, let's get into the effects placement. Now the minute we give effects, I told you in interiors effects matter a lot. So the minute we give effects, we'll see the quality increase multifold. So for the interiors, we'll be using sun, shadows, reflection. These 3 are compulsory here as well. Weather, not that much since we're not in the exterior. Objects, not that much. Camera, we can use the 2-point perspective. We don't want blurry views, so we won't be using the depth of field. No need for the lens flare right now. We'll select the analog color lab. We'll select God rays. As I told you, we'll be adding a couple of new effects such as God rays. And we won't select any of the artistic effects since we want to get a real looking view. Now once I've added a couple of these effects, let's start with the first one. So we've got the sun height. We'll edit the sun height and the shadow once we set the God rays because we want the rays to come in and those depend on the sun height. So we'll start first with the reflection. I'll click on the edit symbol and I'll add a plane. I'll add the first plane will be the tiles. We'll add for the, because you can see now we have complete reflection since we had, so this is the complete mirror as well as we need it here. We'll have to add them in the glass panels over here as well. We'll have to add it on the glass itself, glass table itself. So remember the glass is one on top and then we have 4 sides as well. So whatever is visible, at least in this view, we'll add as we have only 10 planes at a time. I'll go back and I'll double click on my view. So you can see how the view has actually now turned out to be. Now we'll go back here and we'll change the sun height so you can see the rays which are coming in. So I'm going to change the heading as well so we get the rays going this side. increase the brightness. Now for the shadows, again we have got the range of the shadows. Again, not too much shadow within this room. We'll go ahead and increase the coloring, but we'll go towards a warmer side, and if we go behind, you'll see how we're getting it completely over here. Now I'm going to increase the brightness, and what's going to happen is you'll see the room becoming brighter, and that's what we really want to achieve in a interior render. We want really bright renders. Reduce this and increase the omni shadow slightly. Shadow correction. And for an interior, always keep it on super, at least for the views. We've got 2-point perspective. You can switch on the speed ray. Speed ray changes a lot altogether. It gives us the perfect shadows everywhere. Once speed ray is on, we'll go back here and we can increase the brightness even further. Now in Analog Color Lab, you see I can change it to various different types of color settings. Since we're looking for a contemporary look, we'll want to focus more on the color palette of the brown and the white and kind of bring that out. So you all can obviously set it according to what you all like. I think this is good because it kind of brightens up the room completely. Keep it at a lower amount though. It's almost the same. Now we've got the God rays coming in from there. So we can increase the decay of the God rays. When we increase the decay, you can see that it reduces, and when we decrease the decay, you can see it increases. Then we can increase the length as well as the intensity for the God rays to be specific. But we don't want a lot of rays, but yes, we want to show a couple of rays coming in. So we can increase the height, decrease the height, and just change the heading. You can see how we get the shadow coming in completely like that. So we're getting a good lighting effect over here from the... I can reduce the brightness slightly, so this becomes a little more prominent, and increase it towards the Indo. Reduce the omni shadow slightly as well. Increase the brightness of the sun. Now once we're done with all of this, we'll go ahead and we can add maybe a new effect over here. And we could add the color correction. So we can, the only reason I'm adding the color correction is just to brighten this room up slightly, but not change too much of the entire effect over here. You can see by reducing the maximum, I get a much more brighter view. Just very slight changes, not too much. So when you increase the brightness, you would want to reduce the contrast a little bit. As such, I think this is a good bright view that we're getting. And there's too much of light happening over here. brightness slightly so that the lighting is less over here. Now once we're done with this, I think this view is good, set enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift to view number 2 now, and I'm just going to do one random click over here again of the first one, so control 5. Now I'm saying the same. So this is the view without any of the edits, and then this is what we get once we give an entire edit to the entire view. So you can see how the enhancement has taken place altogether, and it's created a much more livelier room than what even just the material settings did. So that's what's the main focus. Now on view number 2, we'd want to just copy most of these effects. So I'm going to click on the spanner button, edit, copy effects, and I'm going to go to view number 2, edit and paste effects. So this view also comes alive again with all the other effects as well. I'm going to go again to view number 3, click on the spanner, edit and paste effects. Again view number 4, click on the spanner, edit and paste effects. So most of the work is already done for us once we click on the paste effects. But now we'll want to see how we can make each of these views a little bit better. So I'll go to view number 2. Now over here, this portion is getting a little like we're not able to understand what's really happening. So for this, I'm going to actually change the heading of the sun. So the God rays kind of change in the angle, or maybe they just come straight like that. Can reduce or increase the height so we get more of the effects coming in. Alright. Again, we have provided the reflection plane everywhere, but I'll just go ahead and I'll add one more plane to the metal over here. Just go inside. Oh, and we can see that our beads have not been given the glass yet. So we'll just go into the build portion and give it the material again. So we'll be giving it the green glass to actually show emerald. Darker green, this would be nice. And we'll go back into the view now. So you can see this looks really good when it comes to the view. I'll just double click back here. Yeah, that makes the view look so much more better. Yes, these greens actually enhance the view to a very good extent. So I think this is good enough for this second view. For the third view, let's see. Well, the table has a good glamour over here because of the light coming in from the sun as well. We can go ahead and reduce the brightness of the sun slightly. Increase the brightness of our entire view generally from this side. Coloring can be reduced slightly. Increase the omni shadows. I'm going to be increasing the amount because I want a brighter side over here since this was a little dull. Now once I'm done with this, I think this seems like a nice view. You're getting the good jollied pattern from the blinds on the chairs. So I think that would kind of look good in the view. Now we'll go to view number 4. In view 4, we need to now brighten up this space. It looks quite dull. So for this, I'm going to again increase the brightness of the entire space. And I will change the heading. So we may get another portion of this thing somewhere in the center. Looks fine. We can decrease the height. We can have a more increased portion of the sun coming in. Alright then. Now in the analog color lab, we can increase the amount also to get a brighter setting, or even decrease it a little bit to maybe get more focus on this area over here. And once you think that it's fine, we can go ahead, but just before that we have the TV over here, so I'm going to add another plane of reflection on the TV. Just back. As we can see now, it's reflecting off as well. We have forgotten to give the material to the columns over here. If y'all have remembered, then that's great. We'll be going and giving these as wood as well. So whatever y'all forget, y'all can always come and edit it by just clicking on the build sign, and it will make changes in all our views. So you can see that that makes a great difference. And once we're done with all of this, let's go back and see all our views now. I think we have created good enough views for this room. You can see how we have brought life through Lumion within the room setting, but we have to pay attention to detail when it comes to not just modeling in SketchUp, but then to the material application in SketchUp, because over here we need materials separately for each and every portion. So like we have given material separately for even the chandelier tops so that they become bright. Speaking of that, we can go ahead and make the chandelier bulbs a little bit brighter by increasing the emissivity of it, just like that. And let's save it and go back and see it in our view, and you can see how those are now glowing. Those really give those nice real effect to it. Now once we're done with this, we can save them and send them for the renders. So for that, do remember we have to keep the save photo set on, and we'll save it on a desktop quality, which is the medium size quality. Let's go to Lumion, let's go to views, and I'll press 2 and save the views and let them get into the rendering process. Again, every single laptop or a PC would have frames different for even desktop. Sometimes some PCs use around 64 frames for desktop, and some laptops use 64 as well. So it all depends on what and which type of a PC or which configuration of PC or setting are you using. Now once our views are removed, we'll go and check them out. And here we go. These are the views that we have created through Lumion. Really good looking interior views, ready to be in our presentation drawings. Alright guys, thanks for watching this topic. I hope you guys are creating really good views. I hope you guys are creating really good views. I'll see you in the next chapter. Take care.